From your official UK station for Big Blue Nation, this is BBN Gameday, Road to the NCAA, presented by Toyota.
Welcome to BBN Gameday's NCAA Tournament Preview Special. I'm Keith Farmer. She's Anna Tarullo, Christy Thomas, and do I need to mention it's Jack Goose Gibbons. And we have a great show lined up for you.
We sure do. We're previewing Kentucky St. Peter's in the first round of the tournament and looking ahead to the Cats' potential path to New Orleans.
Plus, a few unbelievable stories on some of your favorite Wildcats, including none other than Oscar Tshiebwe. Of course, we'd be talking about him. And Davion Mintz. You'll want to stick around for those.
All right, let's start, though, with the Cats' opening round opponent, the St. Peter's Peacocks. They aren't a favorite of the net rankings, coming in at 124th on the list. That's one of the lowest in the tournament. And then this is interesting. These guys don't score much. 281st in the country in scoring offense, but maybe that's just because they don't have to score that much. They've been very efficient on defense with a top 20 effort.
It's hard to say how that will hold up, though. The best win of the season is over Monmouth in their only game against a team that made the field of 68. Providence is a 4 seed in the tournament, and they put up 85 points and shot nearly 65% from the field against the Peacock. Here's what John Calipari expects.
Well, they got really good guard play. The tape I watched today, their guards are, and you talked about their defense. They switch. They're hard showing on some pick and rolls. They got a player in the league they call the MAC, Oscar of the MAC, or the NAC, their league. They're like, he's the guy. And so they got a big, strong kid that rebounds. They're a terrific rebounding team.
All right, so here's a look at their big three, starting with two guards. Gerald Banks, the third, leads the team in scoring at 11 points a game and goes after the glass, too, for a smaller guy. Then Doug Eddard is the lethal three-point guy, averaging almost 10 points a game, shooting over 40% from three. And then the guy doesn't miss from the charity stripe either. And then we've got the Oscar of the MAC,
Nope.
Casey Nadevo.
Nope.
He's listed at 6'7", gets 10 and 6 every night. Somehow manages almost 3 blocks a game, too. He's their best player. Good guard play, great defense. Have been a thorn in Kentucky's side this year. Not saying St. Peter's has a big chance, but they are 5th in the nation in field goal defense. Teams make just 38% of their shots on this group.
I'm sorry, Goose, but there's only one Oscar.
Yep, that's right.
I agree with you.
10 and 6. 10 and 6.
Yeah.
That's Oscar worthy.
Oscar on a bad night. I don't
Come on.
know.
I take real exception to this, okay? All right. Well, here's a look at Kentucky's region. Remember, the Cats are a 2 seed. The 1 is Baylor. The 3 seed is Purdue, and then there's UCLA at the 4. A couple of storylines here to watch. Kentucky, 2 of them, has 2 Kentucky transfers in this region. Johnny Juzang at UCLA, and then Devin Askew at number 6, Texas.
Yeah, and a few of these teams have pulled off massive upsets this year. St. Mary's beat Gonzaga in the regular season.
That was a great game, by the way.
Yes, it was. North Carolina over Duke in Coach K's last game, and Virginia Tech over Duke for the ACC championship. Former Texas coach Shaka Smart now leading Marquette. He's been kind of susceptible to early exits before. Keep an eye out on that. We'll get into Murray State matchup in a second, but Jack, in general, what stands out to you about this region?
Well, there are not many weak teams. I mean, teams that you can just totally count out. And that's a really good thing. But also it's very obvious that Kentucky has a great chance to advance to get to the Final Four. I mean, that's the thing you want to look at most. There could be some interesting games. I know Murray State would love an opportunity to play against Kentucky. And those Kentucky teams, if you think back a couple years ago, Northern Kentucky University made a real strong push.
Yeah.
But I think Kentucky's going to be ready to play, and I look for them to get to the Final Four.
I watched Murray State in the OVC tournament. Boy, they look good.
They're great.
They are really good.
Team.
And they play hard. I think that's the thing that they play hard.
And of course, you can't overlook the first game of the tournament. But if we were to look ahead, which of course we have to do, Kentucky could see Murray State in the second round. We just talked about that. The Racers haven't lost a game since December 22nd on the road at Auburn. At 30-2, they're one of only 3 teams in the country to get to the 30-win mark. Scott McMahon has built a kind of mid-major dynasty on the other end of the state.
Well, then there's the Dons of San Francisco. They're the 10 seed, but actually 1.5-point favorites in this one. A third of their losses on the season came to top-seeded overall Gonzaga. They have wins over Davidson, BYU, UAB, and Arizona State. Guys, the in-state matchup is always fun for the fans, but Murray State, they could be one of the most motivated teams in this tournament. We just talked about that. So watching them in the OVC, what strikes you about this matchup if the Cats get there, if Murray State gets there?
You know, if Kentucky gets there and Murray State gets there, I just think it's going to be one of those games that everybody in the state of Kentucky can feel really good about.
Yeah.
I look for Kentucky to win that matchup. But you mentioned San Francisco. They're a pretty good team. Murray State doesn't have an automatic bid to the second round, even though they're the better seed. Anything can happen, but I'm looking forward to it because I just think it's nice when those Kentucky teams get involved and they make a push in the tournament. But let's hope it's a short push.
A short, easy
I hate
push.
when they get pitted against Kentucky. I
Yeah.
just wish they'd put them
you would
somewhere
like to
else.
have
You
them
know?
somewhere else.
Lots of stuff that we can all cheer for
Yeah,
sure.
right.
All right. Well, this is something we can cheer for because we all like the SEC. Kentucky is one of 6 SEC teams that punched a ticket to the big dance this year. That's tied for the second most in conference history. Auburn, Tennessee, Kentucky, Arkansas, Alabama, and LSU, all of which earned a 6th seed or better. The Cats went 4-5 against these teams this season, and John Calipari's been preaching about the strength of the conference all season long. He couldn't believe Texas A&M got left out of the field, or that SEC tournament champ Tennessee got a 3 seed. Coach Cal says the SEC schedule is to blame, and his comments are brought to you by UK Healthcare.
You don't give the committee enough time when you end on Sunday. How about this? Why do you think we had such a great practice today and I was able to do stuff? Because we didn't
Play Sunday.
We didn't play Sunday.
The Aggies, well, that hurts my feelings, but the Aggies really had some bad stretches in the regular season. At one point, they lost 8 conference games in a row, but then they went on that really magical run in the SEC tournament. Was anyone surprised they got left out? What do you think, Goose?
I was surprised. I mean, look, that team played great. I mean, they were playing as well as anybody, obviously in the SEC, but not many teams in the country playing as well as that team. And I agree with Coach Cal, man. If you're not going to wait and see what happens on Sunday, give these guys an opportunity to show. I mean, they're in the finals of the SEC, one of the toughest conferences in the country.
That has to mean something. It has to mean something.
How can you not put them in?
Yeah.
And that's especially true when other teams finish on Saturday.
Yeah.
Other conference finals are Saturday. It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
And Tennessee's sitting there saying, well, Saturday game didn't matter either because we beat Kentucky and we didn't get a 2, right?
That's right.
So, all right, let's go bigger picture now and let's look at the full bracket. Let's start in the West. That's where the overall number 1 seed Gonzaga sits. The 2 is Duke. Can't believe the Blue Devils got a 2 seed with some of their losses, especially at the end of the year, but nonetheless they did. Texas Tech gets the 3. Arkansas is 4. UConn the 5. Alabama is the 6. Michigan State Spartans are a 7, but head coach Tom Izzo, you know, he can get dangerous in March. I got him advancing a little bit there.
All right.
Of course. Boise State versus Memphis is the 8-9 game. Kellen Grady's former team, the Davidson Wildcats, are the 10. And there's a play-in game between Rutgers and Notre Dame for the 11. Kentucky's loss to the Fighting Irish ended up being a quad 1 game, but still the win over UK was their biggest one on the season. New Mexico State, Vermont, Montana State, Cal State Fullerton, and Georgia State round out the last 5 seeds in that region.
I like Texas Tech coming out of that region. What do you think, Goose?
Well, I'm going with the Zags to come out of that region. I just think it's time for them. I mean, they have been there. They've been knocking on the door. They've played great basketball all season long again. I just expect they're going to win that division.
Well, we've been saying that about them for a long time.
And I get it.
And it never happens, all right? All right, in the South now, that's where Arizona's the 1 seed, followed by number 2, Villanova, number 3, Tennessee, then it's number 4, Illinois. Keep an eye out for Kofi Coburn and how he does this March for the Fighting Illini. He's one of Oscar's biggest competitors for a few of the big national awards.
Yeah, the 5 seed goes to Houston. The Cougars rolled over Memphis last weekend for the American Athletic Conference Championship title. They'll play UAB. Always look out for those 5 versus 12 seed games. Number 6 Colorado State gets number 11 Michigan. The Wolverines do have head coach Juwan Howard back after he served a suspension at the end of the regular season.
The Ohio State Buckeyes earned a 7 seed. They'll play Loyola Chicago. Always a Cinderella favorite this time of the year, especially with Sister Jean's good mojo on their side, Jesus on their side. And then Seton Hall versus TCU
Hard to
is
argue.
the 8-9 matchup.
Yeah, it's hard to argue.
All right, and in the Midwest, we'll start with a very Midwestern team. Kansas Jayhawks get a 1 seed despite being blown out at home by the Wildcats. But to be fair, Kansas responded after that.
They did.
They're 11-3 since then, and they just beat Texas Tech for the Big 12 title.
Auburn gets the 2 seed despite its early exit from the SEC tournament. Wisconsin is the 3, playing the 14 seed Colgate, who have been in the tourney 4 times, but they've never won a game. They are on a 15-game winning streak, though, guys, so they just won the Patriot League, beating their opponents by an average of 21 points per game. This could be an upset.
It sure could, and I would think the BBN would root for that one. Providence gets the 4. Iowa has the 5 going up against 12-seeded Richmond. The coachless LSU Tigers are the 6th seed just days after the school fired Will Wade. USC gets the 7, and then San Diego State and the Creighton University fighting Davion Mintz will play in the 8-9 game.
All right, so across the board, how'd the committee do? What stands out to you, Goose?
Well, the main thing when you talk about the committee, the main thing is Texas A&M. Okay, we talked about that. We understand that they definitely deserved, and everybody around the country, all the talking heads who are supposedly the experts, everybody said the same thing. That is the most obvious mistake. Also, Tennessee is a number 3 seed.
Them and Duke, dual switch.
Yeah, that would be a perfect place for it. No
How to reward them. All right, still ahead. Goose, you went to Kentucky's last practice before they hit the road to Indy, and we still have to get your inside scoop on that.
Plus, is Kellen Grady really in a slump? We'll look at the numbers and hear from Grady himself right after the break. Stay with us.
BBN Game Day, Road to the NCAA, presented by Toyota, sponsored by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, Lexington Opera House, Papa John's, UK Federal Credit Union, and UK Healthcare.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Wow. Perfect. I think red is more me. Giddy up.
Now get 2.49 APR financing on an adventurous new 22 RAV4 or the electrified 40 MPG RAV4 Hybrid. Plus, you get 2 years no-cost maintenance.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
This is where worry turns into relief, where confusion turns into answers. This is where your family can turn to the experts for the big things and the little things. Extraordinary care is right here. UK Healthcare, the power of advanced medicine.
Do you ever hear voices in your head that tell you to do things?
Nope. Do you?
Oh, yeah.
You hear voices that tell you to do things. What kind of things?
Mostly insurance-related things.
Home and auto. They just go together. Save when you bundle your home and auto insurance.
There it is again.
That's just the announcer.
Oh, so you hear it too?
Yeah.
Show yourself.
You're watching BBN Game Day, Road to the NCAA, presented by Toyota.
Welcome back to BBN Game Day.
The whole squad stuck around through the break, including our guy here, Jack Evans, the expert. All right, Goose, so you've watched this team more than anybody else other than Coach Cal this year. So let's start there with practice. You were there today. Calipari also talked about this week's practices, and he made some tweaks.
Yeah, well, he always does.
Doesn't he always make those tweaks? So we're dying to know, what is the tweak? He's talked about that before. So just tell us, live scrimmaging this late in the game, what are you seeing?
Well, a couple of things from practice today. Number one, Brooks pulled a Michael Jordan, okay? Michael would come in 2 hours before practice, have a full workout, work up a total sweat, and then go through the regular practice with the team. Brooks did that today. He was soaking wet. When he left, went back, took a shower, came out with the team. So I'm reading into that he played well in that game. Kentucky lost in the SEC tournament. And he's wanting to build on that. So that's the first thing. Second thing I noticed, what they went 2 for 12 in that game they lost to Tennessee. They were flat knocking down shots. No remnants from that game. They were flat shooting it like they always have. So that's always good. The tweaks, I don't know. I noticed a couple things. They were focused more for this game on Oscar. And I know you already get a lot of that. But they were, picking and they were posting him up different ways than they have been. And then the other thing is, just because you are being guarded by the other team's best defensive player, Kellen Grady. That doesn't mean that you have to let that guy guard you.
Yes.
You got to work. You got to get some shots, and they want him shooting them up a lot.
I like that.
In terms of the NCAA tournament, I'm going to tell you something you don't know, but you've been there before. You've done that. You won the whole thing, for crying out loud. All right, so you know as well as anyone the mental aspect of March. Coach Cal says he's showing the whole team highlight reels of them playing to their best to get them in the right frame of mind.
Well, and that swag that he talks about so often is what you're trying to get guys to pay attention to and to have right now. You give them a lot of positives at this time of the year. Forget about, they don't even remember what happened in the SEC tournament, I hope.
Yes.
They have totally forgotten about that. But yeah, guys have to get your swag back, your confidence that you've had all season long.
Goose, you scared me earlier. You said Keon Brooks pulled. I thought you were going to say a hamstring
No,
or something.
I'm sorry.
He said a Michael Jordan.
I should have rephrased
I was
that.
like, Goose, give us a heart attack.
I'm sorry. I should have rephrased
But when you look at this roster, who do you see being the guy who can handle that? Who do the Cats need the most from over these next few weekends?
Well, I want Oscar, obviously, because number one, he can get the other team's bigs in foul trouble. And on the flip side, he has to stay out of foul trouble. I thought he had gotten away from committing those fouls, 2 or 3 fouls a game that you think, Oscar, just let that go. Would you please? Okay, we give up 2. But he picked up 2 or 3 in the Tennessee game. That should be over. Always called for Brooks to be the best player on the floor. He has that ability.
He does.
We saw that down in Tampa. So he has to be there. And, of course, Grady has to shoot. Look, there's nothing wrong when you shoot the ball as well as Kellen Grady does to take a couple of questionable shots, margin shots. And if he's pursuing those, he's going to make a lot of those, I think.
So we were talking about Kellen a little bit, but I want to bring up the fact that you talked about them shooting. Were those contested shots they were taking in practice?
Yes.
Or were they, okay, so it wasn't just wide open, standing jump shot. They were moving around. Okay,
because he did that 5-on-5 up and down the floor, which he hardly ever does this time of the year. So they had legitimate, not walk-ons, they had legitimate second-team guys guarding the first team, and that makes a big difference.
Cool. So Kellen looks good, though, out there?
Kellen looks great. Kellen always looks great when he's shooting the basketball. I just want him to shoot it. If he doesn't, he's obviously not going to make it.
Shooters aren't ever really in a slump, are they? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, in my mind, I'm like, good shooters, because there's no shot they don't like. They're going to keep taking shots. They're going to keep doing what they do, right? I mean, here's a look at his numbers. I thought some shots you could just tell. He may have been a little off balance, some things, but Kellen's going to be fine.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine. Look, I'm excited to be playing against someone other than SEC opponents. Guys who you play. I mean, just think about it. Playing Tennessee 3 times, playing Vandy 3 times. I mean, that's no fun. It's kind of like the first month of the season when you're looking at the same guys in practice every day. Let's get some new faces that we can go against. That's the most important thing and the thing I'm most excited about.
Totally agree with you. All right, Goose, thanks so much. Thanks. All right, don't go anywhere because we're going to put you on the spot for your final 4 picks here in just a little bit. We probably have a little bit of an idea of what that looks like.
That's right, but before that, Keith has a story with Oscar Sheway that's going to make you love Big O even more, if that's even possible. That's coming up next, only on BBN Gameday's NCAA Tournament Preview Show. We'll be right back.
This is where worry turns into relief, where confusion turns into answers. This is where your family can turn to the experts for the big things and the little things. Extraordinary care is right here. UK Healthcare, the power of advanced medicine.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Wow. Perfect. I think red is more me. Giddy up.
Get 2.49 APR financing on the new aggressively styled 2022 Highlander or the electrified Highlander Hybrid that'll take you 580 miles on a tank of gas.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Better ingredients, better pizza means that each bite of this slice right here is gonna just keep getting better. From the first bite to the spicy sausage bite to the string of melty cheese. And then bam! You got that crispy piece, the gooey piece, that sauce, that dip. And just when you're thinking this slice cannot get any better, you get to that epic stuffed crust that's hand-stuffed with cheese. Better ingredients, better pizza, even better when it's stuffed.
All right, welcome back. Well, it wouldn't be the postseason without a few postseason awards.
Well, Oscar Tshiebwe has more than a few. Look at this list. Sporting News National Player of the Year and unanimous first-team All-American by the same outlet. He's also Associated Press first-team All-American and a Sports Illustrated first-team All-American.
That's pretty incredible. In the Southeastern Conference, Oscar was voted by the coaches and the media as the conference's Player of the Year to go along with SEC First Team and SEC Defensive Team selections and USA Today's SEC Player of the Year. He's also a finalist for the National Defensive Player of the Year award, and he's certainly on his way to becoming Kentucky's first consensus Player of the Year ever.
Yeah, but what makes Oscar so special is also what he's doing off the court. The 6'9" junior from the Democratic Republic of the Congo has also found community with the Big Blue Nation here in the United States. But his home and his family in the Congo have shaped the young man that he is today. So finding a piece of home here in Lexington was a happy surprise for Big O. Oscar Tshiebwe says growing up in the Congo is a difficult situation because there's no middle class. There's the high class, where everyone has the wealth, and the low class, where you struggle to put food on the table or clothes on your back.
Came to America with a big dream. First time I came to America, I say, America is a good place. America can change the people's life, but you gotta work harder if you really wanna change your life, wanna change your family living situation.
And for a guy who came to America with very little, you would understand if he was only laser focused on his game, trying to get better so he could make the NBA where there are bigger opportunities to help his family back home. But it didn't take long to realize Oscar is different.
If one of y'all make it 4 threes, then one of y'all can get my shoes.
The hands are massive. Let's all be ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
Like for me, I just show love to everybody, spend time with people. God sent us here to help one another, to spend time, to talk about God.
Any chance he gets, Oscar loves to share time with the fans, on a court, after games, and away from the court, even if the timing isn't always ideal.
He was already kind of late to the bus, and we're trying to get to the arena, and it was like, 15 fans right outside the lodge waiting for us to get on the van. I'm like, Oscar, come on, bro. Like, we got to go. Like, we have a game. This isn't after the game where you could kind of stay, and you're like, we got to go. He's like, no, man, I have to sign every picture. I have to take pictures. I'm like, all right, bro. But that just tells you right there that he really cares for, every single fan. He wants every single fan to feel like they've had an impact, or he can make their day with a smile or with a picture. And that just tells you who he is as a person before a basketball player.
Oscar loves to share his faith with others when he's speaking. He's been to churches and recently had the chance to sit down with 16 students at Beaumont Middle School who are all from Africa, some even from his area of the Congo.
Noel, is his hand bigger than yours?
Yeah. To go and see those kids, not just from Congo, from Africa, it means a lot to me. And we're not just here because we're just here. Everybody came here for one reason. Some came here to study. Some came here for school and basketball. So everybody has a dream. I'm going to America for this. But when you get to here, and you look around, there's nobody who can support you. There's nobody from your home. There's nobody. But when they saw me as a holder and I'm doing good and God has blessed me with a lot, they were happy. They were happy. They feel like we got somebody from our home countries, like our brother, and he trying to talk to us, help us with everything.
They mostly think we can't really accomplish much in America. But we can show them, they can just tell them, watch me, bruh. Like, I used to be bad at math, but now I'm probably the best student in there.
I'm not as selfish. I want everybody to accomplish their dream one day. I want everybody to be good. Not just from my home country, but like from all over the place.
It felt nice, mostly because everybody here, I barely see any African kids in school. Everybody speaks English. Nobody, if you speak Swahili, nobody's gonna know what you're saying. They're gonna look at you like you're weird. So being able to talk to someone who knows my language also who came here while they were at an early age, it makes me feel better.
And Oscar had the quote of the year when it comes to making sure anyone stays away from negative people or those that can be a bad influencer in your life.
I told them, I say, stay away from negative people. If you want to fly like eagle, you're not hanging out with chicken. You got hanging out with eagles.
I mean, right?
wow.
You don't hang out with the chickens if you want to fly like an eagle.
Keith, that was
Love it.
so good. That was so good. And I think at a time when we really, really needed BBN, needed somebody like Oscar, he was here. I mean, I think the timing is divine intervention for sure.
Yeah.
Love that. Great stuff. All right, well, coming up, Maggie Davis has the story of Davion Mintz's second chance at his senior year. That's right after the break.
Is this your card?
Nope.
Is this your card?
Uh-uh.
Is this your card?
Sorry.
Home and auto, they just go together. Save when you bundle your home and auto insurance.
This your card?
Huh. Congratulations. And it only took 27 tries.
That trick is just like us.
It's complicated.
It's magic. Oh, he's good.
A better tomorrow starts with one small act. A better tomorrow can start with you. Take care, Kentucky.
Okay, you want to make pizza night with the family even better? Bam! Get yourself this Parmesan-crusted papadilla. So while the kids grab their slices, you'll be crunching on toasty flatbread folded with meats and cheese. It's like a golden, crispy little fireworks show in your mouth. Oh. Ooh. Get a Parmesan-crusted papadilla just for you, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza.
You're watching BBN Game Day, Road to the NCAA, presented by Toyota.
Welcome back. This year's men's basketball team has to be one of the most beloved teams in program history. Christy, what do you think?
Could not agree more. Love everything about him. Well, Davion Mintz is a big part of that, especially since the fans know how much he went through last season. Our Maggie Davis sat down with Mintz to tell the story of his senior year, part 2.
It's flown by. Like, I just feel like I was making the decision to come back.
It seems like just yesterday.
I mean, we won 9 games last year. If that's not enough motivation for anybody, I don't know what is. I pride myself on winning, and I need to prove that. So that's something I won't forget, especially for the returners that felt that pain last year. You just don't forget that you won 9 games.
I know you've said a couple of times over the last year or two, I wanted to come back to get the real Kentucky basketball experience. Do you feel like you had that?
What? Times 10.
She's crying her eyes out as she's walking up to me, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, and she was just like, I'm just so excited to meet you. This is my first time. You're my favorite player. I've been waiting a year. And I had 0 points. Like, I didn't really even play a full half of a game, you know what I mean? Just to realize that, you know, God made me somebody that could make someone else feel special about themselves. That just sent me over the top.
This has been crazy. It's been one of the best years of my life. This was super dope, and I'm happy I made the decision that I did.
Although this year's experience was vastly different from last year's, injuries throughout this regular season did give us flashbacks to Mintz's time at point guard in 2020. But this time he had the full force of Big Blue Nation behind him.
I'm super adaptable. I mean, whatever's asked of me, I'm going to do for this team. And it's been fun, though, being able, especially with this being my last time, and those were 2 home games where they missed, so being able to be out there in front of BBN and those being home games to play for that amount of time, that was super fun.
Davion played unbelievable today. Really, really good.
And you know who was happy for him? Ty.
Yeah, that's my brother. Yeah, that's how this whole team is. That's why we're successful, because there's no envy. Everyone is super happy for each other. And if you notice, when a guy is playing well, it's always the guy that's competing with them every day in practice is the most proud of them, because that person knows how hard they're working every day because they're guarding them.
Tell me if you disagree with this, but I feel like that helps the team so much going into March to have that experience, having to adapt.
Absolutely, because in March you never know. I mean, it's madness for a reason. The craziest things are going to happen. So this is a time where your 12th man needs to be ready. You know, everyone needs to be locked in, keyed in, because you never know when your name is going to be called.
Mintz's bonus year also meant he could go through senior day at Rupp Arena for a second time. This time, with his parents standing with him.
When you checked out of that game,
checking in for Kentucky is Jacob Tuffy.
to hear that last applause, can you even put that into perspective?
No, I can't. Like, my friends back home were calling me. It was like, yo, through the TV, like, we heard them chant your name. Like, they were like, Davion, and like, that was on ESPN, you know? And even as a kid, you dream of playing on ESPN. No matter who you are, how big you are in this world and what you're doing, playing on ESPN is a big deal for you, even if you're LeBron James. So to have them screaming your name on ESPN, on your senior night, my family's there, everybody's watching, yeah, that's a big deal. So yeah, that means a lot to me.
Years from now, when you look back to where we are now, the end of the regular season, what do you think you'll remember about this point in the season and this team and this group and what your experience has been like?
This is the highest I've been ranked going into the postseason, so we're a top 5 team in the country. It's a big accomplishment. And then I'll just remember my teammates, like the way that everyone came together and supported each other. During times like this, you remember the summer workouts, like the hard parts of what got us to this point. And then, you know, our support. I'll never forget the fan base that we have. I'll never forget, you know, all of the people in my life that helped me get to this point. And then all the nights, you know, sacrificing, being in the gym when I didn't want to. And then all of the people and teammates that were there afterwards and walking by and seeing them come in right after me or seeing them leave before me, you know. Just the hard parts, you don't forget that, you know. When the sun does come out, you really will never forget when it rains. I know I always say that, and it's true, like I mean that.
A better tomorrow starts with one small act. A better tomorrow can start with you. Take care, Kentucky.
Did you know we both have even number birthdays?
Yeah, I suppose we do.
And we both love chocolate cake.
Yeah, we sure do.
And both of our mothers have an S in their name.
Fascinating.
It's like we were meant to be together.
Home and auto, they just go together. Save when you bundle your home and auto insurance.
Whoa, we're both right-handed.
Wow, that can't be a coincidence.
Better ingredients, better pizza means that each bite of this slice right here is gonna just keep getting better. From the first bite to the spicy sausage bite to the string of melty cheese. And then bam! You got that crispy piece, the gooey piece, that sauce, that dip. And just when you're thinking this slice cannot get any better, you get to that epic stuffed crust that's hand-stuffed with cheese. Better ingredients, better pizza, even better when it's stuffed.
You're watching BBN Game Day, Road to the NCAA, presented by Toyota.
The mere phrase March Madness is enough to get basketball fans pumped. But while it's an exciting time for fans, for players, it can come with a lot of pressure and stress, especially when it says Kentucky on the front of their jerseys. Our Michael Berg takes a look at the mental toll of the postseason.
Mental toughness. It's a phrase we hear a lot in the sports world, and this time of year it seems to really get thrown around.
Mental toughness is an actual tangible characteristic that can help carry an athlete or a team, because talent is only one piece.
The rest of that pie is then divided into all these different other categories that also contribute to your success. And one of those is mental skills. And so the term mental toughness is a real thing.
Or as Coach Cal says, his players are built different. He doesn't just mean physically, though many of them are in that way too. To many, success here means Final Fours or more. But that doesn't mean it can't be found in the earlier rounds.
That term built differently maybe refers to that, is looking things in less of a sort of narrow-minded way of saying success is winning and winning is success.
Dre Edwards, top of the key with the three! They've waited 40 years!
And what about that UK women's team? Surely they can carry the success from that stirring SEC tournament win into the next tournament. Dr. Cormier, however, says that only works to a certain degree, given everything from the opponent to the venue is about to change.
Thinking back to how John Wooden worded it, we need to think about where we are now. We can't think of what we did yesterday or last week. We need to think forward.
And looking forward as it relates to the psychology of the March Madness tournament format, the doctor offers this analogy.
Imagine you going into work tomorrow and your boss telling you, if you do a couple mistakes, if you subpar perform today, that's it for you. You're done.
The guy from Twilight. This is the original Batman.
And that might be the very thing that makes the NCAA tournament one of our cherished yet most pressure-packed events of the year. It's where we often see that tangible element come into play.
Mental toughness is part of our performance. It's a little sliver of that pie, but if that sliver is missing, you don't have a whole pie.
Thanks to Michael Berg for reporting on that. Really interesting stuff. All right, still ahead, we'll talk with three of the Wildcats who know a thing or two about having to stay mentally tough. Kellen Grady, Davion Mintz, and Lance Ware. Preview March Madness with us right after this.
A special thank you to our cornerstone partners, Central Bank, the official bank of UK Athletics, and Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment.
This is where worry turns into relief, where confusion turns into answers. This is where your family can turn to the experts for the big things and the little things. Extraordinary care is right here. UK Healthcare, the power of advanced medicine.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Nice.
Sweet.
Go big or go home.
What'd you say?
What's up? Get a great deal on a legendary 4Runner or the best-selling Tacoma, like this new 22 Tacoma 4x2, now with 0% APR financing or $500 customer cash.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
A better tomorrow starts with one small act. A better tomorrow can start with you. Take care, Kentucky.
You're watching BBN Game Day, Road to the NCAA, presented by Toyota.
Feels weird to say, but this team is the oldest and most experienced group John Calipari has ever coached at Kentucky.
However, that experience doesn't extend into the postseason. Only Davion Mintz and Kellen Grady have played in the big dance before. Mintz for Creighton, Grady for Davidson, neither of which got the win, but both guards gained valuable experience.
Laura Maggie Davis has more on what they can teach their teammates about March.
Don't be too emotional to the point where it takes away from your game. I mean, it's a really big venues, really big settings. Second time going to the tournament with Creighton, we went to my hometown and played in Charlotte. And I was super emotional. Like, I was starting, and it was just a lot because I'm like, I have to win. Like, I was worrying about having to win. And when you just go out there and play and let everything take care of itself and realize, hey, this isn't just another game, but it is just another game. And like, this is my first tournament at Kentucky, so it's a big deal. Everyone's watching. times 10, but, you know, just stay calm, cool, collected, and, you know, go out there and play hard. It's just another game.
I do remember our team at Davidson, we were very focused on Kentucky. We weren't focused on who we would play in the round of 32 if we upset them. In fact, I don't even remember who we would have played. I think it's important to try not to get lost in the moment and focus at the task at hand. It's entirely different. I mean, it was in Boise, Idaho, and it's a different type of neutral court experience.
It's madness for a reason, and I mean, everyone's coming to play their best ball, and it's versus Kentucky, so, you know, everyone's looking to make a highlight tape out of that.
What Davidson and Creighton might have lacked, Kentucky shouldn't have a problem with, especially with the first round being played in Indianapolis.
We have a whole bunch of fans anywhere. You know, when we play South Carolina, when we hear that Go Big Blue chant on the road, it's like honestly nothing better. When we were in Kansas, hearing that Go Big Blue chant on the road, it was just, you know, brings chills to your body. To see that you have support wherever you go is amazing.
The magnitude of playing the NCAA tournament, it's just there's a lot going on, there's a lot to process, there's a lot to be proud of and be excited about, but I think if you can focus on your first opponent and the task at hand and go one game at a time, then hopefully that will lead to some success for us.
I know Coach is going to kind of get us ready, but we've been in some tough games and we know what it feels like to lose, and you know, we don't want that feeling, so that kind of motivates us to, you know, we know that it's win or go home and nobody wants to go home. So we're gonna fight, we're gonna do everything that Coach asks us to do, and, you know, obviously do our best to win the game.
I mean, the experience and the maturity that we have on this team, older guys, that's our responsibility to help the younger guys. And the special thing about this team is not only the older guys are teaching, we learn from the younger guys too, their situations, but we have to be those leaders for sure in times like this.
Ty Washington is one of those younger guys, and his performance in March could end up deciding the Cats' fate. It's a lot of pressure for a freshman, but Mint says Washington's composure has been evident from the jump.
Early in the season, like when practice was starting, Sabir was picking him up full court, and it was tough for him at first, but he never folded. Like, he kind of laughed about it, and we're like, this dude is crazy. And he was like, after we got in the locker room, he was like, bro, I've never practiced that bad in my life, and was laughing. I'm like, he's gonna be all right. He's gonna be good. And since that day, I mean, look at him, he's shining. So it's just stuff like that that makes him special.
But for the whole team to shine, they might need to huddle up and just listen to Granddad.
Maybe he'll share us a little story over a fire or something. You know he's old, so over his cup of coffee or something in the morning. Whatever Granddad likes to do, we'll listen to him.
Fantastic.
Well, they'll pull him out of the Cracker Barrel first,
Yeah.
and then
Play some checkers,
Yeah, exactly.
put the radio on.
You know, I'm not worried about. I know that a lot of them haven't played NCAA tournament games, but I don't think that concerns me all that much. I do like the age. I like the experience.
And you know what I've loved about this whole show, honestly, in this whole season, is I love listening to these guys talk about other players, not themselves, but talk about other players. Really is so. I think the sky's the limit for these guys, even after basketball.
They always smile talking about each other. Love that. Well, coming up, Goose Gibbons will be back on with us with his bracket picks plus one shining moment. That's right. We're throwing it back to 2012 for some good luck. We'll be right back.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Wow. Perfect. I think red is more me. Giddy up.
Now get 2.49 APR financing on an adventurous new 22 RAV4 or the electrified 40 MPG RAV4 Hybrid. Plus, you get 2 years no-cost maintenance.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
This is where worry turns into relief, where confusion turns into answers. This is where your family can turn to the experts for the big things and the little things. Extraordinary care is right here. UK Healthcare, the power of advanced medicine.
A better tomorrow starts with one small act. A better tomorrow can start with you. Take care, Kentucky.
You're watching BBN Game Day, Road to the NCAA, presented by Toyota.
Well, we all remember where we were when the Cats won it all in 2012, right?
Oh,
you guys
of
remember?
course.
I was
Yes.
there. It
For
was like
sure.
a lifetime
Yep.
ago, though, a little bit.
All right. Well, thanks to our friends with UK Sports Video. We can all relive that tournament run with their Kentucky-only version of One Shining Moment. Take a look.
College basketball's national championship trophy is coming home to Kentucky.
The ball is tipped. There you are. You're running for your life. You're a shooting star. In all those years, no one knows just how hard you work. But now it shows that one shining moment you reach deep inside. In one shining moment, you knew you were alive. Feel the beat of your heart, feel the wind in your face. It's more than a contest, it's more than a race. When it's done, win or lose, you always did your best, 'cause inside you knew that one shining moment you reached for the sky. One shining moment you knew. One shining moment you willing to try. One shining moment you knew. One shining moment.
All right, I have a confession to make. That used to be my ringtone. I loved it. Awesome video.
I'm ready to go play, by the way.
Let's go.
Can you suit me up, Coach, please?
Great video. And of course, now the time has come for our picks for this year's tournament. I'll go first, guys. I got Gonzaga, Kentucky, Tennessee, and I hate that Midwest region. It was a hard one for me, but I picked Iowa coming out of there. I don't know. Christy, who do you have?
Okay, mine are a little weird. I'm going Texas Tech, Kentucky, Villanova, Providence. And the reason why I picked these is not so much that I'm cheering for people as much as I'm cheering against people.
That's a good way to do it.
That's kind of how I landed here. Yeah.
That's why we don't see Duke there.
Exactly. Or Tennessee.
Arizona.
I mean, yeah, I got to be honest. All right, Goose, what do you think?
All right, I've got the Zags playing Kentucky. I have Arizona playing Auburn. I think Auburn's going to, you got the possibly number one player in the draft. You got to think he's going to step up.
Okay.
And
the Zags, you're going in.
Do I finish up here and tell you what's going to happen from here?
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, I have the Zags beating Kentucky. So I'm going to stop right there. I want them to do it. I have to pick one that I'm really hoping goes the other way.
All right.
But
Cut
that's
that
what
out.
I
Okay.
think.
All right.
So he had the one up that I don't have in mind was Auburn, but I got three other SEC schools up there.
Well, that's good.
I got
like that.
Arkansas, Kentucky,
Wow.
Tennessee, and then I got Kansas in there. I think they're got to go on after
Peaking at the right
Kentucky.
time.
Yeah, took care of them.
All right, but I like the love for the SEC. That's good.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone at home for joining us on our BBN Game Day NCAA Tournament Preview Show.
Christy Goose, thanks for being with us
Thank
here.
you.
BBN Game Day, Road to the NCAA, presented by Toyota. Sponsored by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, Lexington Opera House, Papa John's, UK Federal Credit Union, and UK Healthcare.